Revelation 8 is a pivotal chapter in the book of Revelation, where the seventh seal is opened, ushering in the seven trumpet judgments. Below is a verse-by-verse explanation. Verse 1. When he opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven for about half an hour. The opening of the seventh seal marks a solemn moment. The silence signifies awe, reverence, and the weight of the coming judgments. It contrasts with the loud worship earlier in heaven, Revelation 7, and may symbolize a pause before the storm of God's wrath begins. Verse 2. And I saw the seven angels who stand before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. The seven angels are prepared to sound their trumpets, which will unleash judgments on the earth. Trumpets were often used in biblical times to signal important events, such as war or divine intervention. Verse 3. Then another angel, having a golden censer, came and stood at the altar. He was given much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. The angel with the golden censer symbolizes the mediatory role of Christ or angelic assistance in presenting the prayers of the saints to God. The incense represents the prayers of believers rising to God, showing that their cries for justice and deliverance are heard. Verse 4. And the smoke of the incense, with the prayers of the saints, ascended before God from the angel's hand. This verse emphasizes the efficacy of the saints' prayers. The imagery portrays their prayers as a pleasing aroma to God, highlighting the importance of intercession. Verse 5. Then the angel took the censer, filled it with fire from the altar, and threw it to the earth. And there were noises, thunderings, lightnings, and an earthquake. The fire from the altar represents God's judgment. When thrown to earth, it results in catastrophic events. This signifies the beginning of the judgments associated with the trumpets, reflecting divine wrath against sin. Verse 6. So the seven angels who had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. The angels are now ready to blow their trumpets, signaling the unfolding of God's judgments. Each trumpet will bring a specific calamity on the earth. Verse 7. The first angel sounded, and hail and fire followed, mingled with blood, and they were thrown to the earth. And a third of the trees were burned up, and all green grass was burned up. The first trumpet brings a plague, reminiscent of the plagues of Egypt. The hail, fire, and blood indicate devastation to vegetation, symbolizing environmental and economic upheaval. Verse 8 to 9. Then the second angel sounded, and something like a great mountain burning with fire was thrown into the sea, and a third of the sea became blood. And a third of the living creatures in the sea died, and a third of the ships were destroyed. The second trumpet describes a massive object, possibly a meteor or volcanic eruption, impacting the sea. This judgment affects marine life and commerce, causing widespread destruction and loss. Verse 10 to 11. Then the third angel sounded, and a great star fell from heaven, burning like a torch, and it fell on a third of the rivers and on the springs of water. The name of the star is Wormwood. A third of the waters became wormwood, and many men died from the water because it was made bitter. The third trumpet affects fresh water supplies. The star, called wormwood, symbolizing bitterness, contaminates a third of the water sources, leading to widespread death due to poisoned water. Verse 12. Then the fourth angel sounded, and a third of the sun was struck, a third of the moon, and a third of the stars, so that a third of them were darkened. A third of the day did not shine, and likewise the night. The fourth trumpet causes celestial disruptions, reducing light from the sun, moon, and stars by a third. This symbolizes a period of darkness and despair, echoing themes of judgment. Verse 13. And I looked, and I heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because of the remaining blasts of the trumpet of the three angels who are about to sound. The angel announces 3 woes, emphasizing that the judgments to come will be even more severe. This serves as a warning to the earth's inhabitants about the escalating intensity of God's wrath.